Welcome to the Keep the Faith podcast. I am your host, Tori, doing it live. You know how we do on Monday evenings. And of course, I have a guest with me today, Miss Yolanda Self. And Miss Yolanda, you nervous? Are you nervous?
Very.
But this is what we're going to do. Before we get started, before we get into the conversation at hand, a very, very dear friend of mine, Miss Dominique McFarland, and I'm trying not to get emotional because I'm a crybaby, but she lost both of her sons on July 6th, 2016. And it was I want to say because this is 2021, it was the 5-year anniversary last month. And I'm getting emotional. I'm trying not to cry. Lord have mercy. But I want to pay tribute to her baby boy. His birthday is today. He would have turned 18 years old on today. Mayan McFarland. We're going to have a moment of silence. I was trying not to cry, but we're going to have a moment of silence for Mayan McFarland, who would have turned 18 on today. Rest in peace, Mayan. We love you. Whew. Okay. Y'all know I'm a bucket of water. But anyway, today I have Miss Yolanda Self in the studio. And she's so nervous. So listen, you see how emotional I got. I can only be me. I can only be real. That's just how I am. But today we're going to be talking about, before we get into the topic, first of all, tell everybody, who is Yolanda Self? Tell us a little bit about yourself. And ironically, your last name is Self. Yes, tell us a little bit about yourself, Miss Self.
Selfish. Yolanda Self. From Darlington. I have 4 babies. My last 2 started their last day of school today. So I had to graduate too. I work for Mr. Linwood Edwards in Florence. Been there 5 years. Great team, great attorney, So I'm good. I'm loving it.
Big shouts out to Mr. Linwood Edwards because, that's my attorney, right? Whenever I need anything, I reach out to Linwood Edwards. He is the best. So shout out to Linwood Edwards. He's an amazing attorney. And you say you've been there 5 years already?
I've been there 5 years.
So what exactly, you're a paralegal, right?
Correct.
Okay. And I could tell that you love that job.
I do.
Is that something, before we get into the topic, is that something that you always wanted to do?
I did. When I was little, I always saw myself as being an attorney. Mm-hmm. But I was a hothead when I was little.
Really?
So I wanted to get out of the house the fastest way I could. So military was it.
Okay.
So, when I traveled that road, it kind of threw everything back a little bit.
Yeah.
But I love my job. When you find love in what you do, you happy.
And it doesn't feel like work.
No, because you enjoy it. You have good days, you have bad days. But at the same time, it's like I can actually say I love what I do. I really love it. I do.
Okay. Well, today what we're going to be talking about is self-love and appreciation. It is so important to love ourselves. Self-love sets the tone of how others treat you. And you will be surprised. I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I'm not going to call their name, but this show is dedicated to you. I encourage them all the time that you are a beautiful person, you're a giving person, you're a loving person. But no matter how much I tell this person this, they have to believe it within themselves. Right. So we're going to focus on today. We're going to talk about that self-love because, like I said, it sets the tone for how others treat you. If you don't love yourself, if you're not respecting yourself, if you're not appreciating yourself, if you're not valuing yourself, guess what? people around you
Are gonna
are.
mistreat you and misuse you, and then you're gonna think you're worthless.
Yes. And that is like one of the hardest things that I had to learn. I had to learn how to love myself. But I love me some me now. But it's like when I did not love myself, I would attract people that did not value me, people that did not see my worth. And I would make it the crazy thing about it, I would make excuses for people mistreating me. And there's a lot of things that I would accept because I did not love who I was. Now we're going to talk about that self-love. So how does that self-love and appreciation, how does it play? How does it have an effect on you?
The story that I use most often is when I was little. And I think I shared this with you before because, you know, me, you talk about everything. But when I was little, I was always told that I was an ugly girl, but I had pretty eyes. And it's like that right there alone can ruin your self esteem, especially if you're young. You know, so you also have to be aware of where those words are coming from. Because if it's coming from your inner circle, are the people that's supposed to care about you more, then it's going to take a bigger effect on you because it's going to have you going down paths and roads that you really don't want to go on. It's going to make you be rebellious, you know, because if he or she say I'm ugly, but I got pretty eyes, the only thing that's pretty for me is my eyes. Like, so if I need that attention, then hey, I'm just gonna find it the best way I can. So for me, it took me a while. And when I say a while, y'all, I'm up there. Not up there past not up there past 50, but I'm up there. And I wanna say that 2018 is really where I started like loving me. You know, it and it's weird because now I remember I told my mom that whenever I found my dream job, you know, I wanted to go to work dressed up. I want to be cute when I go to work. I'll go to work cute all day, all night. You know, it's not a problem. But what good is it going to work dressed up if you don't feel like you're worthy to look the part? You
Right.
know, it took me a minute to get there, but thanks be to God, I've grown. You know,
Yeah.
I was like I said, I was up there when I realized it, and I also realized that I cared more for other people and situations than I did myself.
And you find yourself, I know for me, I can only speak for me. Did you find yourself putting others before yourself all the time?
Always, always,
Yeah.
no matter what it was, always. And when you look at yourself, and so my girls, all of my girls have mirrors in their room. So what I'm trying to instill in them is the first person that should be able to tell you that you're beautiful should be yourself. So me, when I exercise, because I exercise at home, so when I exercise, it's like, what part of me do I need to fix today? Lord, you know, I'm cute. So if I want to walk around here cute and I know I'm cute, then I need to look at myself in the mirror and I need to tell myself, all right, Yolanda, you cute today. What you gonna do?
Right.
You know, so I'm hoping that they use those mirrors for those purposes. If they don't, then I don't know. Maybe they'll take them down one of these days.
But you made something, a valid point in regards to what you tell your girls. It's very important, just like you said, and a adult told you as a child
Mm-hmm.
that you was ugly, but you had pretty eyes.
Yep.
We have to be very careful what we say to children because when you hurt children, the broken children, they will grow up to be broken adults if they don't receive that necessary healing. So that's why, and I always say this, I always mention this. I know when me and my son, we were at odds at one point, I had to change how I spoke to him. I had to change my words. And sometimes if I said certain things, I would make sure I would quickly apologize. That's so important.
Right.
Cause and then of course I used to pay attention to things I would say and he would just hold his head down. And so I had to God had to show me me. And I had to look at myself like you know,
But when
certain
you look at,
things.
but when you're looking at yourself, don't you like, ugh,
Yeah.
like, no, that ain't
Yeah.
me. Like, come on,
Yeah.
Lord,
Yeah.
that's not me.
Yeah. So I had to
Yeah.
look at myself and I had to change how I was speaking to him. And sometimes when words are spoken to us, we start to believe what is spoken over our lives. We actually have to start from within to start loving ourselves. And then, not only in the process of me changing how I was speaking to him, I had to change how I was speaking to myself, how I was seeing myself. Because it's one thing where you can be on social media and you can post pictures and you smiling, but on the inside you are tore up.
Listen, one thing I learned
Mhm.
in this journey called self love and self appreciation is the only other person I should love more than me is God. And if God created me in his image, then I'm supposed to love me. So if you don't love you, it's like you'll never know what things you could have accomplished if you had that love for yourself back then.
Right.
And it's a lesson because you can look at, let's take my daughter for instance. And I told her last night, I said, I'm going on Tori podcast tomorrow. I said, so I'm going to talk about you. And she looked at me like, okay, mom, whatever. So my baby, love her to pieces, but she's gorgeous. Oh my God. I love the way she looks. And people will tell me, and you look like your daughter. And I'm sitting there like, no, I don't look like that. But she's gorgeous. And
Mhm.
she knows she's gorgeous. But deep down inside, it's like something's missing. So I told her last night, I said, you have to love you. Stop worrying about what your friends are saying, or start worrying about what family is saying. Stop worrying about what people are saying about you. Because right now, until you get to a point to where you're loving how you are, what you are, and you know your worth and you know your value, it don't matter what nobody else thinks. She started crying. And I was like, why are you crying? And like, I don't think she really understood. But I told her, I said, you have to love you and your situation before anything. Are you going to be content or are you going to be complacent? And so she looked at me and I was like, yeah. So what I told her to do, I gave her, well, at first I gave her 10 and then I gave her another 12 index cards. And I told her, I went through because I have affirmations. I write these affirmations. I have 110, but I go through them every morning and I go through them every night because the only person that can build me up other than God is myself. Because I can't expect people to come in because if my kids don't know or my children don't know what's wrong with mom, then they're not going to be able to help me get out of the problem or the situation that I'm in. So I gave her those 22 cards last night and I gave her affirmations. I am beautiful. I am talented. I am creative. I am worthy. I am trusting. I am loving. I am adorable. I am admirable. And so I told her, I said, every night and every morning, you need to flip through these cards and you need to tell yourself this stuff about yourself. And eventually, you might not think so now, but it's going to make a big difference. So
It will.
I hope she read them this morning because, like I said, she wrote them last night. I hope she read them this morning, but if she didn't read them,
And I'm gonna go through the comments. Kimberly Jeanette says, true paradox perspective. The gentleman of the chat would like to affirm that you are, as pure matter of fact, quite pretty.
oh, thank you.
Kimberly Jeanette also says yes. Kabaya Christ Jackson has a emoji of the angel, and they also says self reflection. Kimberly Jeanette says that was me, and Kabaya Christ Jackson. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name, but your handle, and it said faith above reason. And we have definitely got to have faith. Definitely have to have faith whatsoever.
Exactly.
And in order for us to truly, truly, because it's one thing for us to say that we love ourselves. Now, here is my thing. I would say that I love myself, but then I would look in the mirror
And you didn't mean it.
and not only did I not focus on, people would say, because like I was saying earlier, people can tell you that you are beautiful. They can tell you all these things, give you all the accolades in the world, but you have to believe it for yourself. Because I
Exactly.
was like, what do they see? I mean, it was a time where people tell me a lot of things. Oh, you're beautiful. And I did not see it. And I mentioned this on a few podcasts back. And I was telling one of the young ladies that was on the podcast at the time, I was saying a lot of times for me, hiding was wearing the wigs. I wouldn't wear my natural hair out. Wigs for me was a coping mechanism for me to hide because you know how some people like to be seen all the time.
Yes.
I'm the type of person like to be behind the scenes. So I would wear wigs. And I still now listen, I'm still going to listen, I'm going to tell y'all now. I'm still going to have my wigs out from time to time, but
Mhm.
that was like wearing a wig for me was it's like a coping mechanism. Like days when I don't really want to be seen, especially the days that I wear the wigs where it's covering like half of my face, like have the Leah look going on, like Jamil said, have the Leah look going on.
Right.
It's because it could be a day that I may not be having such a good day and I'm just trying to hide. You know what I mean? It's a coping mechanism for me. And I'm not there yet. I'm still working on it, but I can honestly say I'm loving myself more and more day by day. And the affirmations help a whole lot.
They do. I promise you they do. Now, for me, listen, I went to the salon. I want to say it's been a week now.
Mhm.
And all I did, thank God, shout out to the hairdresser. I don't know her name. She does my sister's hair, but I shout her out. She's in Hartsville. And I went and I told her, I said, I want different. Because I used to keep tracks in my head. So the beginning of the year, January 1, I went without tracks.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I need my tracks. And everybody was like, you need to just wear your hair down.
Yeah.
No, I don't want that. And then, being older, you got that gray. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to dye this. So I went to her possibly a week ago, maybe a week and a half. And I told her, she asked me what I wanted. And I told her, I said, I want color. I just don't know how. So she was like, you can either streak it or you can color the bottom. So I was like, let's go with coloring the bottom. So of course, I thought it was only in the movies where they put the aluminum foil in your hair.
No.
So she was doing the aluminum foil. She did the color. And I was so nervous sitting in that chair. I promise you, I was shaking. I wanted to cry. It's like I had butterflies. And so when she washed it out and she was taking the aluminum foil out, so it's like the lady that was in there with her was like, oh my God, that's pretty. Mind you, I have no idea what color this lady put in my hair. I have no idea what it's going to look like. So she blow dried it. Mind you, I went through the whole process. I'm sitting in this chair. When she turned me around, I was sitting at the table like this right here. Because I did not want to see it because it was like, okay, I'm still working on the loving myself. I'm
Yeah.
still trying to figure out, trying to get myself to that point.
Yeah.
But when she finished and I stood up, I was like, oh my God. Y'all, when I tell y'all, and if I start crying, I'm sorry. When I tell y'all at that moment, I realized like you are beautiful. You are gorgeous. Regardless of what was said to you when you were little, you are a gorgeous person. Yeah, I ain't never took so many selfies. I've never taken so many selfies before. My phone is filled with pictures of myself because now, like, I see it. Like, I really do love myself. I took care of myself. I made sure that I was, I catered to me. And it helps a lot. I got a manicure. And I'm so used to going to the nail salon, getting the nails, getting the acrylic, and then leaving out the nail salon.
Right.
But I actually got a manicure. A manicure is different from just getting nails. It was like I was being pampered. The
Right.
lady took care of my hands, and I was sitting there like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to come back. Like it really made me feel like I've been missing out on so much. Why didn't I love myself like this before?
Right.
And then I thought back to, they always say that people will tell you what you need to do and who you need to leave alone so you can start loving on yourself. You need to start working on yourself. Back then I didn't. I didn't care what it was. I didn't care who it was. If they needed Yolanda, Yolanda was there. So now it's like I'm putting me first.
Right.
Like the only other people that's coming before me is God and my kids. Well, my mom, thank you, Mom, I love you. But that's it.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not doing that to myself no more because I don't want to go back down that road from loving somebody more than I love myself. And then all of the stuff that I'm working on now, it'll be worthless. I mean, it's like, why?
Right.
So,
And the thing about let me go through the comments right quick. Kabaya Christ Jackson, no judgment. I still suck my thumb at 46 years old. No judgment.
none at all.
And he said Kabaya Christ is from Hartsville. And please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name. He also says God looks good when you look in the mirror for the first time. Yes. We was born with an image that didn't belong to us. It takes a while to shed the skin. Oh, yes, indeed. Oh my God, yes. We truly, like we say a lot of times that we are made in his image.
Yes.
We say it, but do we truly believe it?
I don't think we to an extent. I don't think we believe it because one thing you'll hear is what is your worth? Mm-hmm. And gentlemen, I'm not knocking you. Yeah. But females, I see it more in females than I do in males. Yeah. Where the female will give everything or every drop of her to a male. Now, there are some males that give every drop to females. Yes. So please don't take it as I'm being like biased as far as the gender is concerned. Right. But you see it more in females where we give ourselves more to men and we love that man more than we love ourselves. Right. And it's like you have to pull yourself out of that because we walk around and we're looking a hot mess and we don't care. But there's certain things like if you and him were to go out, you just as cute as you want to be, but on the inside you like, I don't like the way I look. Right. So it's like you putting on this image, but in order to make it all blossom, in order to make it all flourish, you got to have that love and that appreciation inside as well as outside. Because when you got it more on the inside and it shows, it don't matter what you have on, you're going to be able to see that glow in that person. Mm-hmm. That's all she wrote right there. I'm telling you, and you got to be more than also when you're loving on yourself and you're appreciating yourself. You have to be more than the clothes as well, because you can be so beautiful on the outer. Because I've seen people that they have on the fanciest clothes, may drive the fanciest car, but when they open their mouth to speak, they speak some of the ugliest words. And I also pay attention, like, this may not be much to some, but you know how you go to restaurants and you pay attention to how someone may treat the waiter or someone may treat a janitor. I pay attention to those little things. Like for me, I'm going to treat everybody the same. I'm going to treat the janitor, the waiter. I'm going to treat them just as much as just the same way I'm going to treat the CEO of the company. Right. I treat no one any different. I love everybody, but like I said, some people can have on the fanciest clothes, but they have the worst attitudes, and some of the worst words come out of their mouth. Is crazy. And I'm going to go to a couple more comments. The female forgot her wisdom. The sons of God are here to restore that splendor. Oh, I'm loving these comments. Victor says, oh my God, there's no way you just said it. Yes, I did. I did, Victor. I did. But, and let's see who else. And Kimberly just said, you're right.
Kimberly Jeanette says you're right about that. Yes, absolutely. But I mean, and I've struggled over the years with realizing my self worth. Like I would be constantly pouring into others, constantly telling them they're beautiful, you're this, and pouring into them where I didn't feel like I was beautiful. I didn't feel like I was worthy. And I say this often, all the time. When I first started um, the podcast, I was like, will anybody really listen to what I have to say? And I'm still learning that the people that it's supposed to reach, they will reach the people that needs to reach. The
Exactly.
people that are supposed to be here, the people that are supposed to support me are going to be here. And I've learned within the past, I will say year or two, God has strategically placed the right people in my life. It has been so amazing. And then there's some people that you expect to be there that are not there, but that's okay too. Because we talked about this last week when I had Sanyetta on. We have to be delivered from public opinion and how people feel about you.
Yes.
Let's see what Victor says. Victor says, men have to be so much. How do we not give you everything? I think women have lost sight on what a man is. Men will lay down their lives for their family. Women won't, though. Victor,
Mm,
that's not true. Now, Now, it's not true to an extent. Let me put that back up there. Let me read that again and make sure I answer this. He said, men have to be so much. How do we not give you everything? I think women have lost sight on what a man is. Men will lay down their lives for their family. Women won't though. Um,
can I say something?
of course.
Okay. That key word in that sentence was men. Don't, I'm not saying that men won't do what they're supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
but you have some
Yeah.
that are not men as of yet. That when let me see, I was 21 and the guy that I was dating was 10 years older than me. So he was 31, right? So to me, he was a man because he's in his 30s. But in all actuality, and what I realized is that even at 31, he wasn't a man, he was still a boy.
Mm.
So there's a difference. So even though he's of age, does not really characterize him as a man because you have some 50-year-old boys, you have some 60-year-old boys, 40-year-old boys, but your keyword in that sentence was man.
Yeah,
It's man.
the men will step up. And Victor, the other part of that, you actually touched, you elaborated on that very well. But the other part I wanted to touch on that comment was Victor was like, women. Let me put it back up there. Women won't. There are women that will. I promise you, there are women that will lay down everything. And that's the problem with some of us women. We lay down too much for that man to the point where we lose ourselves. And I refuse to do that again. A man must learn how to leave his mother for his wife. Oh, that is good. I was just talking about that in a conversation earlier today. I was talking to someone in regards to the conversation was like, say you're in a relationship and you put, instead of putting your wife first, you're putting everything above her. You're putting your mother above her, you're putting the children above her, and you're allowing others to disrespect her. It is your job. I feel as if you're in a marriage, it is your job to make sure your wife comes first. It is your job to protect her. It is your job to defend her. It is your job to make sure. And I was telling me, this person was having this conversation that how can you allow, I don't care who it is, How can you allow them to disrespect your wife, who you took those vows for? How can you allow someone to, and how can you not say anything when they're you see that they're being disrespected and you don't say anything? How do you do that? But you claim to love that person. How do you do that?
I don't know. I listen.
Here's Victor. You know, Victor is loves he's the converse. Oh, I would give it to Victor. He like to start converse. He like to spark converse. I give it to you. Women will not lay down their lives, maybe for their children, but not their men. You both just stated you won't be open to opening yourself to a man. So have y'all given up? No, I have not given up, Victor. I'm saying that I have in the past. I have
I don't think
given up.
did I say that I wouldn't open myself up to? Did I say that? Lord, if I said that, Father, I forgive me, Victor. I don't think I said that. And we might have to do that playback. Make sure I didn't say it. But what I'm saying is not open. If I open myself up to a man, it's gonna be somebody that can match my worth. I'm not going to just open myself up to somebody that does not appreciate me because I don't want to go back down the path
Yes.
that I've already been down. And it's like, I don't need nobody that's not going to motivate me.
Right.
I don't want nobody that's not going to love me. I don't want nobody that's not going to appreciate me, because one thing I can say is I will lay down my life for my man whenever he comes, but not the boys that I had before.
Listen, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Victor, and I can only speak for me. I have made some sacrifices for men in my past. I have made sacrifices to where I lost myself, and I'm not saying that well. I will do it again, but I'm at this point in my life. I have to make sure it's for the right one. It has to be for the right one, because I've lost myself too much for the wrong one, and I'm a giver by nature. So it was a natural thing for me to just, you know what I mean, make sacrifices with, no questions asked. But to answer your question, Victor, I have not given up. It's just I'm taking my time, and I'm making sure that my discernment is turned all the way up. You know what I mean?
And one thing you also got to realize is, how can I love somebody if I don't love me?
Right.
So I refuse to put somebody in that situation or enter into a relationship, and Yolanda does not love Yolanda, but Yolanda is trying to go into this new relationship, and it's like, I'm not trying to give you the best part of me because I don't even know where the real me is.
Right.
I have to find me. I have to make sure I love me so that when you come in, we can love each other.
Right.
You love me for who I am. I love you for who you are. But I don't want to go into that relationship and I don't love who I am, because I'm not going to be the best me I can be for you.
Right. And let me go through the comments before we get too far. Hang on. Oh, my wife is married to Christ before me. Kabiyah, Victor was asking what was he referring to? He said, Kabiyah, Christ, what are you talking about? And his response was, my wife is married to Christ before me. Kimberly Jeanette, me too. For my husband, yes, I will, because he is a God-fearing man and we are one. Kabiyah, believe she is telling the truth. Parables. Kimberly Jeanette, right. Kabiyah, marry God within you first. This is great conversation. I'm no pastor, but I type a lot. And so Victor says, you made sacrifices for males, not men. It's a bit, you know what, Victor, you're right. You're absolutely right. You made sacrifices for males, not men. It's a big difference. Most women don't really know what a true man is. Stop comparing us to the male figures in your lives, because how you see them may not be how the world sees them. So the saying is true. He's a good man to me. That is, Victor, you're right. You're absolutely right. I stand corrected. You're absolutely right. I made sacrifices for males, not men. They're people that I may have had a certain view of, but He's right. That may not have been. And of course, you know, a lot of times people pretend very well. They pretend to be something that they're not. And sometimes when they're pretending to be something they're not, sometimes we overlook a lot of things because we're caught up with the counterfeit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's either we caught up with the counterfeit or you're caught up with the uh let me see, the person, the potential. That's where I'm looking for, the potential. Like if you're not caught up with the counterfeit, you also seeing them. Well, we for some reason, I know I've done this in the past. You feel as though, oh, I can fix them, or they'll change, or you're thinking that you're the one that will be the one. You are the one that will change them.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel as though that if you, the person that God sends, that's ordained by God, they're going to see your value. They're going to see your worth. And I feel that those that are not sent by God, they're not going to see your value. They're not going to see their worth. And this is what's crazy to me. And I know the men that are watching, I didn't answer this question. Why is it that sometimes when we no longer are not talking to you, not connecting you, then all of a sudden it's like your eyes are open, like you all of a sudden see our worth or claim to see our worth. I will never understand that. Why do you see it after the fact? Why do you have to wait till we're gone? Why do you have to wait till the water runs dry till you see our worth? Why? I mean, I need a man to answer that for me. I mean, I don't understand. It's like it'll take us to ignore you for us, you know, for to see my work. But let me go through some of the comments. Caveat Christ Jackson. Remember, the ego is Satan undercover. Ooh, that's good. I got to use that. Remember, the ego is Satan undercover. Ooh, that's good. People don't change, they modify for the new relationship. Woo.
That's so true.
Lust. The lust runs dry. Wow. Woo. That's some good conversation. Wow. And Victor said, I'm definitely not touching it. Why not, Victor? I really want you to answer the question. Why not? Sly Jeffrey, we see it. We just push our luck. Why is that though? Why do y'all push our luck? Is it because you think that we're always going to be there? Is that why you do that? When we wake up and we love ourselves, we see our worth and our value. It's over.
It's over.
Ain't no looking back. It's over. Slide says we only go as far as you let us.
Exactly, because
that is true.
And what you have to remember with that comment right there, that goes back to say that if I let you go that far, then no, I really don't care about myself. Now, like I said, I'm not talking about all females.
Right.
I can only speak on Yolanda.
Right.
You know, and I know that Yolanda cared more about other people than she did herself.
Right.
So now Yolanda is a work in progress. At my age, it's like I should have been there.
Right.
Because like I said, in 2018 is when the bell started going off. 2018, that was what, about 4 years ago?
Mm. Is that 4 years?
Was that 4 years?
3.
3?
Yeah.
So it's like the alarm should have been went off in my head. Like,
right.
Come on, Yolanda, get it
well,
together.
sometimes it takes some people longer than others. So don't beat yourself up about that.
Well, listen.
And let me go back to Caveat Christ. It said love covers all crimes. I feel as though love, because we love people so much, sometimes we overlook a lot of things because we love them. And Victor, hold up now, that goes both ways. Yes, it does, Victor. It does go both ways. You're absolutely right. But I think sometimes I'm thinking back on some past relationships where I know that I didn't love myself, where I allowed more than I should because I love this person. I'm like, and now that I look back, like, I don't want to call myself a fool, but like you, like, why did you, And I look back, not only in, for me, not only in romantic relationships, but even in friendships, even in when it came to family, like there's still friendships that I feel like, and I'm actually still going through a pruning because I've actually been going through a pruning season since probably 2016. And it's like some friendships you feel as though because we have that history that maybe I need to hold on, but I'm realizing that sometimes that's not always the case. When it comes to family, sometimes we make excuse for family because of certain titles that they may care. Well, this is this person, you know what I mean? Because they have a certain title. But no matter what the title is, no matter what that family member is to you,
Right.
that should not allow them to devalue you, to disrespect you, to talk to you in any kind of way, to talk down to you. I don't care who it is. And sometimes, and I say this a lot, sometimes we have to not answer that call, not answer that text message if it's disturbing your peace. When you become drained,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God. Let me go back through some of
So,
them. Kabaya Christ Jackson said, love is a word we was taught. The alarm is sounding. Most women just choose to ignore it. Yep, we do. Kabaya Christ, show me you love me. Don't tell me. Now
it's so true.
that part, okay, boom. I'm sounding like Whitney now. Boom. So what you just said, show me you love me instead of telling me. I had someone tell me probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, Tori, I love you. I heard them. I heard them say they did, but everything, their actions said something totally opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I listened to you say that, but I'm paying attention to your actions. They're not aligned. So now I'm looking at you weird. I hear you, but your actions saying something totally different. So I pay attention. So that's a very, you show me, you got to show me. You can't tell me. Okay, Victor sent it right this this long essay. If you allow a man to do you a certain way, you are condoning the silly stuff he is doing. He is mostly to blame, but you have to share some responsibilities, especially if you know and are aware of what is going on. Women love the victim role, but never want to be accountable for their part in the demise of the relationship. That is absolutely true, Victor, but
At the same time, that's what we were talking about as far as self love. We're
mm-hmm,
not saying we're not part of the problem. We
right.
are. So I can admit that, yeah, it
Yeah.
was me. I
Yeah.
did see the signs, but
Mm-hmm.
I loved that man more than I loved myself.
Right.
So it's like now I'm at a point to where when I when I meet whomever I'm supposed to be with, then I know how to enter into that relationship. And I'm not going to condone most of the stuff that, happened before. But yeah, we are part of the problem. Yes, we are,
Yeah.
because we didn't see our worth. And if
Yeah.
you're not going to recognize our worth and express to us, you can tell us all day long, baby, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, or whatever. But if we don't see it, then it's like those words are just words because we don't feel like we are worthy. We don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't.
And Kabaya Christ Jackson says every 28 days we must get rid of something that no longer serves us. Period.
Listen, if I got to
Absolutely.
get rid of something every 28 days, I won't have any kids, right? Because them things would have been gone like 4 months ago. I'm just saying. They'd have
Victor
been
says
gone.
him. Kabaya says you only love me because of what I can do for you. I picked up on that with certain people as well. The men are not teaching them the right way because they don't know the way. Interesting.
That is interesting.
Victor, there's not wrong. Wait a minute. That's not wrong. That's not Victor, what you trying to say? There's nothing wrong with that, Yolanda. I think some of us love too quick. Oh yeah. Now
Now that is
that's
so true.
listen, when I figured out what Victor was trying to say, you see, you're talking too
Tell her don't do
fast.
that, Victor. You done helped us out through this whole podcast. Tell her don't come for you like that. We got you, bro. We got
Victor
you.
know I'm gonna mess with him. And Sly says most women are afraid to be alone. Ooh, now
That is
that's
so true.
very true.
Yeah.
That is so true. And see, with me, and I'm one of those, and for me, I like to be. It's like now, y'all. This is probably gonna sound crazy, but I like being. I love me so much to the point where I love my alone time. That even though I desire marriage, I desire to be in a romantic relationship. Sometimes I be thinking, Tori, how are you going to do that? Because I like my space. Sometimes I can go days without answering my phone. I can go days. I can put my phone on airplane mode. It's just me and my son in the house. And if as long as he's in the house with me. I can go days when I answer my phone without. It's nothing for me to put my phone on airplane mode or either put it on do not disturb and just be unbothered for like a week and a half. It's easy, and people are like, Tori, you all right? And I come when I feel like talking, I come back, which is probably sometimes can be selfish, but I mean, I do that sometimes. I have to just enjoy my space, and my peace. I just do that sometimes.
But you know what though? That is like, listen, I love my quiet time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave. I'll go sit in my room, and I'm in my room. And if my kids need me, they'll text me. Like I love it because it helps me to enjoy me. I've been my old Ari is 22. It's like, so even before I had her, like I said, I was 20, at 21, it was like every time I turn around, I was catering to somebody. And it's like now I'm at that point because my daughters, my last two, started their first last day of high school. I don't need to drive them chicks nowhere. I don't need to take you nowhere. You drive yourself. Now it's time for Yolanda to love Yolanda. It's time for Yolanda to find out who Yolanda is because for the last 22 years, I've been mom, I've been daughter, I've been whatever, I've been employee. But now I have to love me because it's like my life is, even though I'm 43 and I'm about to cry, but even though I'm 43, my life is just now beginning. And now I see that I am capable of loving myself, even though I was not told that when I was little, even though I was not told that during my teenage years. I see now at 43, I'm 43, I see now that I love me. It's time for me to go where I want to go. It's time for me to do what I want to do. It's time for me to have that peace I need to have inside. It's my time to love me. No more catering to anybody. You people grown. I don't need to anymore. I'm good. And if it seems like I'm being, a little selfish to my children, I already told them little things. I'm good. I am just now at a point to where I actually can honestly say I know my worth. I know my value because I did my job as mom. I did my job as girlfriend, as fiance. I did all of that. But now it's really time for me to find out what my purpose is because God said you need to love yourself. If I got to love my neighbor the way Christ loved the church, I'm going to make sure I love me first.
Right.
How can I tell Tori I love you, but I don't love me?
Right.
Like, how can I do that?
Yeah.
So I would really, listen. I love Yolanda now. Yolanda good. She good. She good.
I'm gonna go back through some of the comments. Kabiya Christ Jackson says, even a man has a menstrual cycle.
And I truly believe that. I really, truly believe that. So God bless y'all, boo.
Nothing. I knew what you meant, Victor. You know I had to mess with you. Kabiya, what's your sign? Whose sign? Yolanda's sign or my?
I'm a Scorpio.
Mm,
And I'm a Scorpio.
Lord. Caveat the signs. We don't go by no signs. We don't go by signs.
I am a Scorpio.
Victor, so you separate yourself from society. How is it healthy for those of us who want to form a bond with you? People may be worried about you. So when you separate yourself like that, how do we know when you need assistance or not? Separating yourself isn't healthy, in my opinion.
Can I respond to that?
Absolutely.
Victor, I need to find out why how you and Tori friends. I'm gonna have to stop. We need to conversate. I promise you we do. You need to help a sister out sometimes. So, they say how can you help somebody if you're broken?
Mm-hmm.
Me being broken, I can't help you because it, I remember I had a dream, and the dream was I was drowning, and I'm trying to reach up to these people, and these people are not helping me. Like I'm literally drowning, y'all. I'm scared of water. So if the earth ever flood, Yolanda gone because I'm scared of water. But I was drowning in this dream, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like I was reaching up for these people, but these people couldn't help me. So it's like, how can me be broken? How can I help somebody else? Because you can't help me because I'm broken. The only person that can help me is myself and God. So I would rather isolate myself to get myself together, because the only person that's going to get me through that is God. And when I rely on God, God going to make sure that those people that's supposed to or that want to help me will be right there if they're supposed to be there when I get out of whatever I'm going through. Sometimes, like they say, sometimes you got to go in silence. You got to have that moment where you're in silence. And if I need to have that moment to where I need to get myself together, if you ain't there for me, then guess what? You can you can go. You if you're not supposed to be there, you can go. But those that are truly there, those that really want to be there, once you get through that moment, once you get through that little what do you want to call it? That little solitude. Once you get through that, everybody that's supposed to be there, that was supposed to be there for me, they will still be there.
Yeah.
That's how. That's just my opinion, Victor. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But I really do need to find you, because I'm telling you, these conversations up here that you having, these on point right here. You
Yeah.
good. I
Victor
promise
be
you.
comments be on point.
Yeah,
Paradox perspective. If you don't love yourself, how can you ask someone else to do it for you?
exactly.
The cornerstone of a solid relationship is self-respect. From there, you can build a relationship with a partner.
Absolutely
Absolutely.
true.
Kabaya Christ Jackson. Learn all 12 signs of the zodiac. You can figure yourselves out. You are the 13th disciple. Well, listen, I don't get caught up in the signs.
All I know is I'm a Scorpio.
Yeah,
That's it.
I don't get caught up in the
That's it.
signs. Um, you're doing it now, talking to us. And Victor says my cycle lasts for years at a time. I believe it because you and Caveat Christ Jackson. Wow, we picked it. And let's see. Sly Jeffrey says, "Stop looking for a man. Let the man find you. Not boys that look the part, but a man that is the part." And that's exactly where I am. And Yolanda, I can only speak for me. You're at that point as
I
well.
am. You know
We're
what?
not
I am.
looking.
I'm not looking.
Yeah, he
I'm
gonna find
good.
me. Yeah,
I'm
I'm not
listen.
looking. And why, I'm glad you said that, because let me say let me say two things to women. Now, y'all, my natural hair is knocking my headphones off. But listen, let me say this. I'm glad you said that, because some women are so caught up in finding a husband to the point that they're making that an idol. You're making it an idol because you're caught up, or I want to be a husband, or I got to get married by this time, I got to have a child by this time. But you're missing the whole point. You're missing out on yourself. You're missing out. You got to enjoy your singleness
Yes.
before the marriage. You know what I mean? And then you're caught up on the wedding when you're not even focused on the marriage. You know what I
You
mean?
know what? The best way to handle that is, like, will you go and this is male or female,
Mm-hmm.
will you go sit at a nice restaurant and eat by yourself? Or will you be uncomfortable and have somebody sitting there with you? I'll go to a restaurant and I'll eat by myself
Right.
because the best company I can have is myself and my God.
Right.
Because just because you're sitting there don't mean, we're gonna vibe.
Right.
But I can go and enjoy myself. So I'm not, I promise you, my son got his mama spoiled. My son, I don't have to touch a door. My son opens my doors. My son will carry my pocket. He'll carry my shoes if I ask him to.
Right.
But the thing is, like, no, I'm not. Like, because I realized that I love Yolanda. And if I love Yolanda, then God gonna send me who's for me. Like
Absolutely.
I said, I'm good. I'm good. We good in that book.
Let me go back through some of the comments. I'm trying to keep up. Hold on. Comments are going fast. Okay. I was supposed to follow the man bearing the water, so it's okay to cry. That was from Caveat Christ Jackson. From the deep. Go back far in your mind, you see sand. Victor says the only sign I pay attention to is the one at Krispy Kreme. I know, right?
Look, especially when that hot sign on. Come on now.
Now, Victor got me want some donuts. Okay, Caveat Christ Jackson. Zodiac is the energy of Christ balanced within the seven seals to sit with his father. Okay, that's a
So
conversation.
you got me curious. I'm gonna have to find you on YouTube, Facebook, or whatever. I need to find out
Yeah.
what you know about the Scorpio sign. I need to find out about the Scorpios.
The zodiac is the energy of Christ balanced within the seven seals to sit with with his father. Really? The signs?
I need to find out.
Uh,
I need to look into that one.
A man won't find you. You have to build him. It sounds weird, but we have to mold into the person our partner wants. If I love you enough, I will change. We are never supposed to be what we are at the beginning of the relationship. That's called growth. Okay, I absolutely agree with you, Victor.
I don't.
I agree.
Victor, listen. This, like, I don't know.
Well, to an extent.
I don't know.
I agree to an extent. Now the
building
building the man part, but I think the way I interpreted what he was saying, that's why I said I agree. The way I interpreted was that as you learn each other, you involve. This is how I interpret it. You may see it differently. The way I interpret that comment was as you get to know each other more, you will evolve into what each other need, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I still believe it's a man. It's a man versus a boy mentality. For real. Because when you've been with somebody for 10 years and they still ain't changed none, like, no, bro, you ain't trying to grow. You need to go about your business.
Listen, like, 10 years.
Like 10 years, like, dude, you ain't trying to grow.
Jeez.
You ain't trying to change. Go ahead. But maybe you need to do a podcast. You need to come on and you need to, do a male's podcast. Go ahead and get that.
He'll be on tomorrow. He's on the Tangy Tea podcast with Veronica. They'll be on tomorrow.
Okay, so I need to look at that. Okay.
Yes.
I got you, Victor.
Caveat Christ Jackson says, remember, we need the son to get to the father. That's in the Bible. But the son must be active with you.
True.
Everything is about God. Now, that's true. We condemn things in our minds when we find out that's egoism. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Study thyself to show yourself approved. But here's my thing, Caveat Christ Jackson. I'm trying to understand, help me understand how the zodiac signs have to do with God. I'm a little confused on that. I don't get caught up in the zodiac. Now, I will say this. Now, I don't get caught up in zodiac sign, but I will say, if I read I don't get into, I used to, years ago, I used to read horoscope, but I will say sometimes you read them things be on point, but I don't get caught up in the zodiac sign. Because, as a matter of fact, a friend of mine told me, and this is totally off subject, was telling me something about, God, what is it called? And it has to do something with the signs. Mercury retrograde or something.
Got me lost right
It's
there,
like
boo.
certain times of the year. It's something called, Google it when we get out the, Google it. It's called
Okay.
Mercury retrograde. It's something I never heard. And I remember my friend telling me during this time, certain times of the year, whenever this occurs, you'll have people from your past. Like you may have an ex that all of a sudden calls you out of the blue. You may have like they say she was telling me like during this whatever the Mercury retrograde, you're not supposed to make important decisions, and it's crazy. I'm like, I don't know about that. It's weird, but Google it. It's kind of weird. So I don't know if Kaba, yeah, Kaba. I'm like I said, I'm probably you probably know about the Mercury retrograde, whatever it's called. Okay, Victor says most men aren't mature until we meet a woman. My mother molded me, but my father raised me. It's a bit of a contradiction, but I can't type everything I really want to explain. You know what, Victor? That is good. I like that. My mother molded me, but my father raised me. That's good. That's a whole sermon. That's good. I
Is
like
Victor a
that.
pastor?
Victor.
Victor, I take. Are you a
Ryan,
pastor?
did you hear that? Victor, pastor?
Victor, are you? I'm just wondering.
No.
Like, oh no.
Victor, a pastor?
I'm just wondering.
Uh, you know what? A woman can't raise a boy into a man, but she can mold him into one.
And that's so true because I told my son
Yes.
that instead of him looking for somebody, I told him, I said, you need to pray and you need to ask the Lord who he wants you to be with, because my son made me mad. I was getting ready to say piss me off, but he made me mad. We went to the gas station the other day. Like I said, I don't touch my doors.
Yeah.
So I'm walking out the door at the gas station, and this little knucklehead goes to the other side and opens the door for two women that don't, like, you don't know the women. So before I realized, I had already pushed my door open, and I'm looking around and saying, like, I'm touching my door, like, wait. And he comes from the other side, and I said, I know you didn't just open the door for them two women and your mama walking out. Boy, you done lost your everlasting mind. He was like, Mama, you didn't give me a chance. I said, but you don't leave me to open my door to go open it for somebody else. So I agree with you on that one. Yeah, I promise you that was a long ride home.
I got to holler at my boy about that. Quay, what you doing?
I don't know what he thought. I don't know what kind of life he thought that was that day, but he left me to push my door open. So when I realized my door was open, I'm sitting there looking for him like, where he at? And he holding the door for somebody else. Like, bruh, are you serious right now?
Let me go back to this comment before I lose it. Oh, I'm gonna call him on that one. What was he doing? Okay. Kabian Christ Jackson. Is energy not balanced within humans? Okay. Hold on. There was one comment I missed. Where was it? The simple things save your life if you look into yourself. We have a sign for a reason. Abba Father, Lords, in minutes, think about it. Victor. You
Victor
see what
likes to drink and cuss. Oh, listen, Victor.
Let me tell you something. You know what? It's crazy. Matter of fact, say what you said. Say what you was gonna say, and I'm gonna tell Victor based on his comment. I'm gonna tell him what the sermon was for Sunday, based on what he just said. Go ahead and say it.
No, I was just gonna say, Victor, you good, bro. You good.
Listen, the sermon for Sunday. The sermon for Sunday was God's glory. Shout out to Pastor Kelsey Goodson, the Strong Tower ministry. And I probably misquoting it, but it was God gets the glory, my story, and God has use for us. Meaning, and I'm probably misquoting it, but basically, it don't matter what you did in your past. It don't matter what you did yesterday. God still has use of you.
So, Victor,
so you can drink, you can cuss, and God will still you. Yeah.
at 7 at was that 7:30 at 7:33, you good, bro. I
Yeah.
promise you.
God still will use you. I promise you. I promise you. Matter of fact, a lot of times he use y'all the most. Listen, listen, he will use you the most. I promise you. Let me go back. Let me see what I missed. And this was a comment. A man can enter into his kingdom without a wife. A woman doesn't need to be married. Wait a minute, I'm confused.
I'm lost on that one.
Wait a minute, a man can enter into his kingdom
Out
without
of
a
wife
wife. A woman doesn't
doesn't
need
need
to
to
be
be married.
married.
No,
Hmm.
we don't need to be married. We
Okay.
desire to be married.
Okay.
There's a difference. Yes, we desire it. But I mean, it is kind of what it is. So
Victor says you raised him to do that. I'm pretty sure he made a lasting impression on them. Remember, Yolanda, his woman will come first, not you.
and I want
He
her to
did the
have
right
him. I
thing.
want her to have him. I want her to have him. But until his wife comes, they say that a man will treat his wife the way he treats his mom. With that one, I don't have to want, and you know it, Tori. I don't
Uh-huh.
have to want for anything. If I ask my son, he does it. So I know whoever ends up with that one,
Yeah.
they gonna have them a good one. I don't want to be before his wife because I want him to go. Just like the rest of them. I want him to go. But I know that I raised him
Hmm.
to be that man his wife really needs him to be. So I'll be
Absolutely.
good when when God sent him that woman,
Hmm.
she gonna have her a good one. She is.
And I still, Quinn gave me a flower like 5 years ago. I still got that flower. Profound wisdom, caveat Christ Jackson says, Victor, to my yeah, Victor,
I
listen.
really need to meet you, bro. I need to meet you for
No, you
real.
don't. His caveat Christ says the truth has to be told. Okay. Okay. He is the Godson. Okay. But like I said, I'm confused with the signs. I don't get caught up with the signs. But you know, you're gonna have to explain that to me. You may have to actually come on the podcast. I'd love to have you as a guest. So call me or email me, and so you can come on the show. I feel like you got some great dialogue that we can discuss and dig a little deeper. Great conversation. He is the Godson. I had to repeat that because I'm trying to. Can you explain that? Elaborate on that. He is the Godson. Because I'm thinking something totally different, but yeah, self love starts from, like I said, from within. We have to start loving ourselves more, and also, like I was saying, we have to be very careful. And I said this earlier in the podcast. We have to be very careful of what we say to our children as well. And I saw someone post something. Oh, you were saying
Oh,
her
my
son
son
is
is.
okay.
Okay.
I got
Okay.
you.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
confused. I was like, huh, what? Okay. Thank you for clarifying that because I was lost. But we have to be. I was watching someone posted something on social media in regards to I know it was Pink. She was saying her daughter said to her that she was ugly and she had to encourage. I don't want to misquote it, but basically in a nutshell, she asked her daughter, the kids were picking on her daughter and they said that was telling her that she was ugly. And she said, well, what do you think? How do you think I look? And she was saying that, Mom, you're beautiful. And basically, in a nutshell, she was encouraging her that, sometimes people will not see who you really are. They will not see who you are authentically, but don't change for people. Be who you are authentically, no matter what people say or think about you. Be who you are authentically and don't change for anyone, no matter what they say.
Right. And what you also have to remember, if you get a group of 20 children,
Mm-hmm.
10 boys, 10 girls, how many out of that set of 20 can honestly say that they love themselves? it's not gonna be you. You're not gonna have 10 that say it, and you're not gonna have the 10 boys that say it. You're not gonna have the 10 girls. I can pretty much bet you that the number is going to be higher because there's a lot of children that don't see their worth. They don't see their value. And I tell my kids all the time, well, not kids, I'm sorry. I tell my children all the time, love who you are. You know, you got to love yourself first. And I was telling them that before I got to my point to where I love me. So it's like, I got two that think they the bomb.com, so Tamar Braxton say it. And I got two that's like, okay.
Right.
But I know that I'm still working on them because if they don't see it, then it's my job now that I am where I am to let them know, listen, you just as handsome, you just as pretty as you just as cute as you want to be. So I'm trying to help build that in them because I don't want them to be in that 20 that say, well, I don't love myself, especially if they're, like I said, 38, 39, and they're still not loving themselves. I want them to be able to say, well, dog, my mama showed me how to love me, or my mama told me that I need to love me when I was a teenager. My mama told me, you know, how to care about me when I was this age. And that's how I learned it.
Right.
So I didn't have that.
Right.
I promise y'all, I did not have that until I met Pastor Tommy Milo. Remember I told you?
Right.
Pastor Tommy Milo helped me. He told me I was broken. And when he told me I was broken, it took me 2 years to get myself back as a whole. 2 years. My circle changed. My circle is already small, but you know, it was in that moment when he told me that I realized. But even after I did get myself back together, that part of me loving me was still missing.
Right.
So it came together because I'm telling y'all, this girl right here, she just, and it's not an ego thing. I promise y'all, because I love my God and I know that nothing in my life happens without him. But God say, love who you are, but I love myself, but I love him more.
Right.
Regardless.
Right. And Kabaya Christ says, read the Bible is the best way to figure me out. Okay. But here's the thing, Kabaya Christ Jackson. Here's my thing. I read the Bible. I do. But, and quote me, I mean, put it in the comments if I'm wrong. I have never in the Bible see where it's mentioned anything about, I'm going back to the signs. I know I'm trying, you be like, why she's doing, but listen, I'm trying to figure out in the Bible, it says nothing about signs, zodiac signs in the Bible. So that's why I say I don't feel like it's biblical to me, but that's my, if you show me where the signs are in the Bible, please enlighten me because I don't know everything. The I am you represents in the moment. The bomb.com was my life, me name years ago. The females have the wisdom. The males have the knowledge. My mother taught me that.
And together they can make an awesome power team. If that, like, if it works together for each other, that can be an awesome team. It really can.
I like that. The females have the wisdom. The males have the knowledge. My mother taught. I like that.
I don't know. I might be smarter than some men. I'm just joking because I'm waiting on Victor to say.
Well, we already, women are smarter than men. Everybody knows that.
Waiting for Victor to.
Victor says, I've noticed that some people don't know how to accept compliments and some people expect them. What's a healthy balance? Ooh, that's a good question, Victor. Honestly, I think, that's a great question, Victor, because I actually struggled with that. Like when you say like, I struggled with accepting compliments. Like, say if Yolanda say to me, Tori, girl, did you lose some weight? I may say something like, well, girl, I could lose like 10 more pounds. You know what I mean? Like, instead of focusing on the positive, I'll look at the negative. And I remember dating someone in the past when, I was, I'm not skinny. I'm a little hippie. And he was like, you're beautiful. And I'd be like, well, I got it. You know what they call it? What's the word that the guys call it when you got a little belly?
That fupa.
Yeah, the fupa. I was like, I was like,
Oh
I
my
got a
God.
fupa, I got cellulite on my leg. He was like,
Oh my goodness.
man, he said, you're beautiful. And I said, I got stretch marks when I had my son. He was like, that's beautiful.
But the balance is you don't love when you're constantly finding things wrong with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That balance is that woman does not really love herself.
Right.
I'm telling you.
Right.
Because I was at y'all, I don't know why a lot of conversation happened to me at the gas station. Maybe I need to stop putting gas in my car. But I was at the gas station one day and this man asked me, I frowned, but I'm not really frowning because Tori, I can't really open my eyes in the sunlight. Like my eyes are like almond shaped. Like they're really small. They're like you know, and they're really close together. So when I'm in the sun, I can't open my eyes really wide. So this man walked up to me. He was like, "So why are you frowning?" And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Why are you frowning? You have a pretty face. Why are you frowning?" And I'm like, "Sir, the sun in my eyes." And he was like, "Yeah, any excuse is better than none." And I'm
Oh gosh.
like, I was trying to accept it, but like you kind of took that in a whole different like
Yeah.
no.
Let me go back through some of the comments. Okay, Kabiya Christ Jackson says, indeed. He also says, Adam and Eve all over again. Victor says, women may be smarter, but we are wiser.
I agree with you on that, Victor. You a wise soul. You are very wise.
Listen, don't blow Victor head up.
Victor, I'm gonna blow your head up. You are a wise soul.
Then okay, what is that? What is that?
Now listen, I graduated 12th grade, but I do not.
Sacral chakra not
Chakra?
balanced?
Is it chakra? Is that what that is?
I have no clue what that means.
Maybe we need to go to Siri so Siri can pronounce
Victor
it.
says, which gas station?
All of them, Victor, I promise you.
And Caveat Christ Jackson says, you don't know about Jacob in the mind's eye, third eye. It's part of the chakras. Okay. You know what? When I see the third eye, honestly, it honestly, I have never researched it before, but whenever I see the third eye, it scares me. To be honest with you, it does. When I see that third eye. And it's like, is it the third eye, is it like all knowing, so to speak? But when I see that third eye, it to be honest with you, it scares me. He says you have a heart of chakra. Am I saying that?
Is it right? Are we pronouncing? Is it chakra or chakra?
I've seen that word, but I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm going to Google some of this stuff because you've been dropping some words. I'm like, what? Huh? What?
Look, I Googled, and this is completely off subject. So my auntie lives in Schenectady in New York, right?
Oh, I heard of that.
And
yeah.
we Googled it, and it gave us something completely different. So I'm gonna have to go to Suri so she could tell me how to pronounce that word. Because I promise you, I have no idea.
Okay, yes, I'm right. So is that right about
okay.
So does that mean I'm wondering if you're saying yes, I'm right when I said that all the third eye is like all knowing. I wonder if that's what you're referring to. Crown chakra is for the coronavirus. Okay, I'm totally confused now. What? Okay. I'm lost. I'm lost again. I'm gonna Google this stuff when we sign off. But anyway, we're over time, and I want to thank Yolanda for stopping in.
Welcome.
Because like I said, it's so important for us to love ourselves. And like I said, we were talking about this over the past couple of weeks, and then like I said, I have a friend of mine that I'm dedicating the show to her because we tell her, I push her a lot, and but it's like you can tell someone they're beautiful. You can tell someone they're valuable. You can tell someone they're worthy. You can tell someone they are enough. But until you believe it within yourself, anything I say doesn't matter. So you have to believe it within yourself. And then Kabiya Christ Jackson says, spiritual knowledge will free your minds. Victor says, enjoy the show once again. Had a great time. Thank
I,
you, Victor. You
Victor,
always invoking some
I,
great
I
conversation. I
promise
promise
you,
you.
I enjoyed you, Victor. I really did.
Man, Victor, I think Victor likes stirring up trouble. That's Victor middle name troublemaker.
Trouble.
But what he says every time he makes
Yeah,
those
it
comments,
made
he
sense.
he makes a lot of valid points, and I appreciate that, Victor. Thank you so much, Victor, for the love. We'll be watching tomorrow for the Tangy Tea Tuesday. Matter of fact, tomorrow is Veronica's birthday. Actually, tomorrow we celebrated it over the weekend. So, happy birthday to Veronica early. But her actual birthday is on tomorrow. So happy birthday. So hopefully she'll be doing the tea tomorrow on her birthday. And Kabaya Christ Jackson said, this was great. Thank you so much. You got to
I
come back.
enjoyed you as
So make
well.
sure if you haven't already liked the Keep the Faith page, make sure you go like the page. Make sure you tell your family, friends. Not only do you like Keep the Faith page, go and like the Keep the Faith YouTube channel. Go like 119 Media Group Facebook page. Go like 119 Media Group YouTube page. Go like keep 119 Media Group there on Instagram as well. And also, this is something else that I forget. Big shout out to 119 Media Group, all the podcasts. I don't want to name the podcast because I may forget somebody, but shout out to all the podcasts that is under the umbrella of 119 Media Group. And also, I want to say this: if you are a business owner, if you want to sponsor, be a sponsor on any of the podcasts, Keep the Faith podcast, or even all of them, I'm pretty sure Jamel will give you a deal. Just shoot him an email, or you can contact him if you want to, and see what this does. Like if you're a business owner, the great thing about it, there's multiple podcasts. We can mention your podcast. We also have our social media platforms. We can actually promote your business on all of our platforms. So it's a win-win situation for you. So if you would like to be a sponsor on any of the podcasts, hit Jamel up. And Jamel, that number is 843-687-5055. That's 843-687-5055. Because you know I don't know nobody number by heart. and he, matter of fact, he's also a photographer, and if you need the commercial shot, he can do that as well. But just hit him up. He's at your service. He'll shoot you a good deal. He's like one of the top salesmen I've heard about before. Listen, I heard about Jamel's selling skills before I even met Jamel. Like Jamel is like the top. I heard about him before I even met him. I'm like, well, who is this? They're like, man, Jamel is a cool dude. He'll sell you anything. So I really appreciate it. But like I said, if you are a business owner, if you like to be a sponsor on the podcast, just hit Jamil up. And once again, that number is 843-687-5055. And if you would like to be a guest on the Keep the Faith podcast, you can email me at 84. I'm sorry, I'm giving out the number. The email address is faithisnecessary@gmail.com. That's faithisnecessary@gmail.com. And you can actually text me at 843-920-8124. That's 843-920-8124. You can also leave a voicemail message on that as well. And Victor says, of course, he said the tea every Tuesday and Thursday. That's the Tangy Tea of Life. That's every Tuesday and Thursday night. And Kabaya 555. Now, I see that number a lot. And when I see that number 555, I think that's the number of grace. That's what I see, that number a lot. And the last thing, the comment I'm going to read is, my earth name is Jermaine Jackson. Real talk. Okay.
Hi, Jermaine.
So you know him.
No. I was just speaking.
Okay, well, I'm gonna find you because you got me thinking on some things. There's some things I gotta Google because of your conversation. And 1111, that's another number that I see as well. But you guys, we're gonna wrap it up because listen, we've been way over our hour. But thank you, Yolanda, for stopping through.
Welcome.
So you have got to come back. You know, you was all nervous, and you said how you were dropping wisdom the whole time.
Girl, I wish it was wisdom.
No, it was wisdom.
Now the wisdom.
Because look at all the comments. It said how good the show was. So you were dropping some wisdom, and of course, it was great interacting with everyone in the comments as well. This was really great. This was a really great show. So I'm hoping that if you don't get anything out of anything that we said, please remember to love yourself. It will set the tone for how others treat you.
And write those affirmation cards. I promise you they will help.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys for watching the Keep the Faith podcast. And like I said, at the end of each show, you may bend, but you won't break. Always remember to keep the faith. And if you didn't see the beginning, you can always go back and watch the replay. And we're out. You guys have a great evening. Peace. We go.
Bye.